Okay, good day everyone. My name is Janet Emily Carlos from BSED for MAPE. So I'm your reporter for today. My topic is about globalization and education. So, but before that, let me define or let me give my own definition of globalization. So, what is globalization? For me, the globalization is the development of an increasingly integrated global economy. So, kay globalization, siya yung tumutulong para magkaroon ng interconnectedness ang iba't ibang lahi when it comes or in terms of trade, culture, politics, and especially sa education. Get? Okay. And after my own definition, I have here a full definition of globalization. Okay, let me read it. Globalization refers to an increasing interconnectedness, like what I said, interconnectedness and convergence of activities and forms of life among diverse cultures throughout the world. Ayun na nga po. Like, yung sinabi ko kanina, so, ang globalization is, siya yung tumutulong para pagsama-samahin ang magkakaibang lahi in terms of trade, culture, politics, and especially education. The next one, what is education? So, for me, education is siya yung tumutulong para mag-facilitate ng learning sa mga learners. So, here is the full definition of education. It is a process of facilitating learning or the acquisition, the knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Si education daw ang tumutulong or si education ang tumutulong para ma-develop ang values, beliefs, habits, skills, ability, or ability ng bata. So, let's move on to education system. So, under ng globalization and education is education system. So, dito sa atin, we have constitute the core of the globalization process. So, doon tayo nag-base. Wait. Global education extends students' awareness of the world in which they live by opening them to the diverse heritage of human thoughts and actions and creativity. So, si global education, siya yung nag-help sa bata para maging aware sa environment. To be aware in their environment when it comes to sa bahay, sa schools, or kung saan man lugar. So, they live by opening them in diverse heritage of human thoughts. So, global education siya yung tumutulong para mas maging sociable or mas ma-enhance yung skills or kapasidad ng isang bata. Okay, let's move on to globalization in terms of education. So, excuse me. Let me read it. Globalization enhances the students' ability to acquire the utilized knowledge and also develop the learners to access, adopt, and apply knowledge to think independently, to exercise appropriate judgment, and collaborate with others to make sense of new institutions. So, si globalization, in terms of education, again, siya yung tumutulong or siya yung nag-enhance sa ating mga learners para mas mabuo or mapabroad yung knowledge ng ating mga learners. When access, assess, adopt, and apply their knowledge to think yung like sa 4 pillars, di ba? Stages by stages yon. So bago ang stages by stages sa 4 pillars. So dito sa globalization in education, so stages din. Tinutulungan ng ating mga bata para ma-access, assess, adopt, and apply the knowledge para magamit nila ng ayos yung ating mga na-impart or na ibigay na kaalaman sa kanila. So, yung iba't ibang yung schools and other institution, so yun ang tumutulong para mas sa katuparan ito sa ating edukasyon. Ayon ang globalization in terms of education. So, despite of high level of education and globalization, the Philippines has surprisingly low growth, high poverty, and inequality, which indicates that good policies and institutions should complement globalization and educational base for rapid development. So, do you agree with this? Na in spite of low growth, high poverty, and inequality in this society, so globalization and education yung kailangan natin palawigin. In spite of this crisis, kailangan mas mapalawig natin or mas iral natin ang globalization and education. Kasi siya yung tumutulong para mas ma-develop or mas mapa-increase ang education natin dito sa ating bansa. So, ayan, let's move on to sabi dito based on my research again or on the books na pinagkuhanan ko, So, globalization brings about opportunities for education, particularly in the ways that the new technologies can be put to work to improve both quantity and quality of education worldwide. So globalization, siya yung nagbibigay ng oportunidad sa edukasyon para mas mapalawig ang ating mundo na pag-aaral. I agree na mas laganap ang technology ngayon sa ating society. So, yung quantity. So, it can be nga naman na quantity and quality ay kaya nating mas ma-improve pa. So, pwede nating pagsabayin siya, ang quality and quantity. Kasi kung lalo na by the help of teachers or by the help of teachers and our institution, different institutions. Ang sabi din dito, education for globalization nurture higher order cognitive and interpersonal skills required for problem finding, problem solving, articulating arguments, and deploying verifiable facts or artifacts. So, here are the 6 aspects of globalization. So, we have industrial globalization or transnationalization. So, industrial globalization, it refers to refers to the rise and expansion of multinational and transnational enterprises. So, the next one, we have financial globalization. So, it refers to the emergence of worldwide financial markets and better access to external financing for corporate and national and subnational firms. The third one, the third aspect of globalization is political globalization. So it refers to the spread of political sphere of interest to the regions and countries outside the neighborhood political. So get it? The next one is informational globalization. Informational globalization, rather. So it refers informational globalization. So it refers to the increase of information flows between geographically remote locations. The fifth one, we have cultural globalization. It refers to the growth of cross-cultural contacts. Cultural globalization. And the last one, we have globalism. So refers to the universal internationalist impulse that world is connected. Dito pumapasok ang globalization. Interconnectedness. For our core values and competencies for global education, number one is peace and non-violence. Second one is social justice and human rights. Next, we have economic well-being and equity, cultural integrity, ecological balance, and democratic participation. Again, we have 5 core values and competencies for global education. Again, we have peace and non-violence, social justice and human rights, economic well-being and equity, cultural integrity, ecological balance, and democratic participation. So those are the core values and competencies for global education. Let's move on to this thought from Cotsworth 2004. So ayon kay Cotsworth 2004, teachers and schools need to have the flexibility to cope with and make use of the cultural resources that in their classrooms. So, ma-share ko lang. Merong nag-advise sa akin na teacher na doon sa pinag-internan ko sa pinag-OJT-han ko. So, ang sabi niya is, advice niya sa akin na gamitin mo ang classroom sa pagtuturo. So, para mas maging makatotohanan ang pagtuturo mo, gamitin mo halimbawa ang ilaw. Ang ilaw para sa lesson mo. Gawin mo, ipasok mo kunwari ang isang bagay na meron sa classroom na papasok doon ang lesson. So, doon, yun ang agad kong naalala nung nabasa ko ang statement ni Cotsworth 2004. So, we have to be flexible to cope with and make use the cultural resources para mas maintindihan ng bata yung ating mga tinuturo. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to this thought. In addition, global changes in culture deeply affect educational policies and practices and institutions. Today, the forces of globalizations are affecting youth, families, and education system worldwide. All social systems are predicated on the need to impart values, morals, skills, and competencies to the next generations. So, sa globalization and education, papasok dito yung new challenges, opportunities, and cost. Para sa akin, dito sa report ko, so ang insight ko dito, sa globalization and education, siya yung magiging katulungan. Malaking katulungan ng globalization sa education. Kasi, dito may enhance yung pagiging yung skills ng bata sa when it comes to socialize to other people. Dito mas made-develop or mas magkakaroon ng growth and development yung kanilang learnings na gain from our teachers or from their teachers. So that's all for my report. So goodbye and thank you again. My name is Janet Emily Carlos from PSED for Mabe. Thank you for listening. Bye.